God is calling you to think bigger. You are thinking too small. What is that vision that He has placed on your heart that you are not willing to go for because you feel like you can't? Because you feel like you don't have everything that you need. But God is saying, do you know who I am? Do you know who your Father is? Because if you knew who your Father was, you would move differently. He is calling you to think bigger. It says in Psalms 27:1, the Lord is my light and my salvation, so why should I be afraid? The Lord is my fortress, protecting me from danger, so why should I tremble? This is showing you how to think. It's showing you how to think. Because if we know that He is my light and my salvation, why would I respond in fear? But instead, respond in confidence, knowing that He's going to do what He says He's going to do, because His word never returns void. He is a God that does not lie. So I need to show up in faith in doing it in a way that pleases Him, but also shows my faith in action. Your faith is shown by what you do. So if God is calling you to do something right now, in urgency, in this season, the time is now. Because He said this is the year of divine acceleration, that He is calling us to be prepared to receive. Because our time is going to come one way or another. But are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be able to handle it? So He is calling you to prepare your heart, prepare your habits, prepare for your harvest. And you do this by showing up. In Amos 9:13, there's another example. I'm going to find that. I'm going to read it to you. And I want to give you some revelation that I received. Amos 9:13 through 14. The time will come, says the Lord, when the grain in the grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested. Then the tares vineyards on the hills of Israel will drip with sweet wine. I will bring my exiled people of Israel back from the distant lands, and they will rebuild their ruined cities and live in them again. They will plant vineyards and gardens. They will eat their crops and drink their wine. I hope you caught that. In the beginning of the verse, it says, when the time will come, when the grain and grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested. But it says in 14 that they will plant the vineyards and gardens. That is so good. God cannot bless what you won't sow. He cannot bless what you won't prepare for. Their crops grew because they made the decision to plant. What is God calling you to plant? What has He been nudging you to do that you haven't done? I want you to think bigger. Where you are right now isn't the final destination. It's not the final destination. You can do this. You have so much greatness on the inside of you. If only you would just remember who your Father is. Because He will give you a harvest. He will give you so much that you won't have a choice. You won't have a choice but to give. And when you give, they're going to praise the Lord. You are an answer to someone else's prayer. So will you say yes? Will you say yes? Because again, God cannot bless what you didn't prepare. Even in the blessing, it still takes our work. It still takes your movement. It's in the movement that things change. It's in the movement that you are becoming the person who can handle it. I wasn't able to handle anything that I'm handling right now in the beginning. I remember so long ago when God told me to launch a podcast, and I was terrified because I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to share my story, but it was through that one decision to say yes, to say whatever it is that you need me to do, I'll do it, that a domino effect of things kept happening over and over and over again. And each domino, it still took putting more faith in action. So that doesn't mean that the process gets easier. It just means you have the realization and understanding of who you have with you to know that you're going to make it through no matter what, that you can do this because you know He is on your side. Just a week ago, the Lord told me to launch a mentorship community and do it now and do it with urgency. I, off the top, was fearful, but I had to get my mind right and speak His word over my mind to remind me of who my Father was and to remind me of who I was, because I am who God says I am. So what did I do? I took action. I literally launched it 5 days later. I don't want to be outside of the alignment of my Father's will. And I'm not going to delay the blessing that He has for me because of my emotions. I can feel how I feel, but I have to know that how I feel doesn't determine or declare who I am, for my Father tells me who I am. And that's the mindset you got to have. That's the mindset that He's calling you to have in this next season. Think bigger. You are thinking too small. Leave a comment and say, I'm going to think bigger. I want to know. And I want to see you decree and declare that you're going to think bigger, that you're going to do bigger. Because look, when you think bigger, you do bigger. When we shift our mindset, that takes care of the action that comes after that. And after we take action, it's only what God has destined, that the harvest is going to come. Just like a tree. You plant the seed in the ground. The roots grow down before it grows up. But when it grows up, it's only a matter of time before the fruit comes. And then in Jeremiah 17, it talks about, blessed is the one who believes the Lord is going to do what He says He's going to do. They're like a tree firmly planted by the riverbank whose roots touch the water. So the roots are connected to the source, whose leaves stay moist and they do not wither, who does not fear when the heat comes, and is not anxious about months of drought, for it continues to still produce fruit. God is saying you are going to be fruitful no matter what season you're in. Think bigger. No matter what is happening around you, you can still be fruitful, just like the tree. The tree didn't allow the external circumstances that are happening around it to determine the fruit that it bared, because it knew that it was connected to the source. You must stay connected to the source. We can do nothing without God. We can do nothing without Him. And it's going to take great faith. It's going to take great faith. It's going to take great faith. And when you feel like you can't do it, know that you can because of who you have with you. I said yes to opening the community. And although I don't know how it's going to turn out, I still said yes. Because sometimes the progress in the things that we want or in the actions that we won't do, and sometimes we'll pray for something and we'll ask for something, and God will try to give it to us, but because it doesn't come in the way that we wanted it to come, we get uncomfortable and we don't move. But God is saying it's time to move. It's time to think bigger. This is the year of divine acceleration. Think accelerated growth, accelerated intimacy, acceleration in all aspects of your life. Because imagine how much your life would change by following the instructions of the one who already created the path for you. He already went ahead of you. Why are you afraid? Declare his word and remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of who you have with you. God's been working on my confidence. He has. But you know what? Me not having the entire aspect of confidence, I still move. And I speak his word because I will evolve and I change every single day. The only one who doesn't change is the Lord. Preparation isn't needing to be perfect. Preparation isn't having it all together. Preparation isn't having all the answers. It's about taking bold, intentional steps every single day. So if you're in need of a community, if you're in need of someone to do this alongside with, to get to the vision, but not to just get to the vision, but sustain it, then come on and join the Dreamers Club. This is a divine assignment. You have a divine assignment that he's called you, and you need to learn how to move in preparation, how to get out of your own head. Because there is more for you. He has destined you for more. This community is for the women who know God is calling them to divine acceleration, who know that God is calling them to move in preparation. What are you waiting for? You want to do this alongside a sisterhood, a community who is not willing to just go to war with you in the spirit, but one who sees you, who celebrates you, but also one who doesn't let you make excuses. If this is what you've been looking for, I will drop the link in the description, and I cannot wait to see you and have you a part of this community. This is an annual mentorship community. That means when you sign up, you're locked in for a year. Just imagine what's going to change in a year. I was literally driving home from the grocery store, and I just felt the Lord speak this word to me and to share it with you. So I truly hope this blessed you. It blessed me. I wasn't expecting to cry. Whew. You know, they say like not to cry on camera, or, but at the end of the day, I showed up being obedient in what God told me to do right now in this moment. And so I just really do pray that even if you don't join the mentorship community, Dreamers Club, that you sit with the Lord, that you pray, and you allow him to guide you, and you listen, and you say yes to whatever the step is. no matter how afraid you are, no matter how nervous you are. Because if I could explain the way that I felt before I launched this community, when he first gave me the word to launch it, I genuinely was nervous out of my mind. Nervous. But God is moving you into a new season, and he's doing the same for me. So I'm ready to grow with you, to evolve with you. Thank you for tuning in to this video. Think bigger, sister. Think bigger, brother. God is doing something mighty and amazing this year. He is raising up leaders, and you are one of them. I felt that. You are one of them. He is calling you to make bold moves. He is calling you to stand out. Your path isn't going to look like anyone else's path. Your path isn't going to look like those closest to you. They might talk down on you now, but spiritual decisions don't make sense to those who only think logically. Stop taking what God is giving you and sharing it with those who do not understand. Jesus. You can do this. That's the good thing. The good thing is that you can do this. I don't know who needs to hear that, but you can do this. You are not in this alone. There is so much inside of you. And this is just the beginning. So go ahead, grab his hand, because he just gonna keep dragging you, pulling you different places. But you just gotta believe that he knows what he's doing, because he does. So I love you. And thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, share with someone who needs this. And look, the Dreamers Club, we're here. We ready to ride for you. We ready to go to war with you. We ready to help you accomplish those biggest desires that you got on your heart. And do it by keeping God first and knowing how to sustain it when you actually get it. It's time to birth the vision that God placed on your heart. Okay? I'll see you next time. Bye.